My name is Dr. Marcia Sirota, and I'm a psychiatrist practicing here in Toronto. Over the last few years, I've been working with a lot of people with things like post-traumatic stress disorder, eating disorders, stifled creativity, relationship difficulties, and I've developed this concept which I call Ruthless Compassion, and I'm taking it into a new phase where we've established this institute, the Ruthless Compassion Institute, and I want to do this because I really want to take this idea and not just share it with my patients, but share it with a lot more people, because I think it's such a helpful concept, such a good idea, and I think it could really help a lot of people. Ruthless compassion is a concept that you might have heard about elsewhere. There are some applications in Native American tradition and some in the Buddhist tradition, but the way I like to apply it is by splitting up the ruthless and the compassionate part and then putting them back together. In terms of the ruthlessness, it's really about seeing the truth and being very, very in reality when you're looking at how things are. So instead of being in fantasy or magical thinking or denial or wishful, hopeful fantasy, you're really just confronting reality and dealing with reality. That's the ruthlessness. And it's about being ruthless about your own choices, but also ruthless about how other people are behaving. And so if you're working with ruthless compassion, you're not going to allow people to step on your toes, to take advantage of you, to abuse you, to exploit you, to mistreat you, to disrespect you, because that's not ruthless compassion. And the compassion part is an attitude of caring, of kindness, but it's not an attitude of leniency or being easy on yourself or others. It's really about more a sense of connectedness, a sense of belonging, a sense of cooperation, and a way to really be a part of everything. And when you bring ruthless and compassion together, you get an attitude which is about really having integrity, doing the right thing, even though it might not be the popular thing, and behaving in a way that really is the best version of yourself and expecting the best version of the other person. Ruthless compassion is really about respect, where you're respecting yourself and respecting others by not depriving an adult of the consequences of their choices. If someone behaves toward you hurtfully, ruthless compassion practice would be to give them the natural consequences of their behavior so that they have an opportunity to learn. And even if they choose not to learn from it, you've still done the right thing by giving them that opportunity to learn. An example of ruthless compassion would be when a man is flirting with other women while he's walking down the street with his girlfriend. And if the girlfriend were overly compassionate, she might say to herself, oh, well, he doesn't mean anything by it. But too much compassion without ruthlessness is too lenient. If she were overly ruthless, she might decide to then go and flirt with men as they're walking down the street to punish him or to get him back at it. But that's not helpful either, because then they just get pitted against each other as adversaries. The ruthless compassion attitude would be for her to address the behavior and to tell him how it feels. And then how he responds to this gives her a lot of information about who he is as a partner. If he gets defensive about it and denies that it happened, or if he criticizes her for being insecure, or if he says, you're unreasonable for what you want, then that's important information for her about the fact that she really can't talk to him about how she feels and what she needs. However, if he understands what she's saying, if he says to her, I'm really sorry, honey, I didn't realize that this was bothering you. It really doesn't mean anything to me, and if you'd like me to stop, I'm happy to do that because I care about you and I respect you and I want you to feel comfortable, then that's also very important information about this kind of person that she's with. It tells her that this is a person who does respect her and who is willing to negotiate with her about her needs in a way that's, kind and loving. So that's an application of ruthless compassion. It's a simple example, but I think you can see how it can go wrong if you go to one extreme or the other, and ruthless compassion is a nice middle ground where you get a lot of information because you're dealing with the reality of a situation, but you're not adversarial.